My next guest is coming off a huge win at Bellator 247 back on October 1st, getting that first round submission victory. It is Norbert Novenyi joining me here on the program for the very first time. Norbert, how are you?
Great, thank you, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm glad to talk to you, man. Great win. I know you weren't happy with your performance. We'll get into that in a second here, but I wanted to know, how was it leading up to the fight? During COVID, during the pandemic, doing all the testing and obviously trying to do a fight camp leading up to it. How was all that leading into the fight? Because we're in some pretty interesting times.
Yeah, luckily my team was qualified as an elite team, so all the professional fighters could start training. So we were kind of like training throughout most of the lockdown basically. And luckily one of my friends who's got a CrossFit gym, he let me use some of his equipment. So luckily I could use that at home because it's not far from my house. And also when pro athletes were allowed to train but still no contact, he let us use the gym, me and some of the guys from the gym. So I stayed fit, I stayed in shape. So, I just wanted to get fighting as soon as possible.
And it worked out. I mean, you don't get paid by the hour. It's always nice to get a first round finish as opposed to going the distance in a fight. How did you feel in there without having the crowd and all that? I know that's obviously something a little bit different. For some fighters, they like it. That it's like or they don't even notice it. How was it for you?
Yeah, I feel like I need the crowd. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, it's a fight. Either way, it's just like a sparring in the gym. It's a fight. But I feel like I was a bit too relaxed in there. So, who hasn't seen a fight, basically the first 15 seconds, the guy kind of rushed me and dropped me because I was just too relaxed. I was like, I didn't have the urgency to move. Oops, sorry.
No problem. All good. I like the carryout on that though. You almost let it fall and you didn't, so that's good.
Yeah.
No worries.
So I didn't have the urgency. I feel like, and I made a silly mistake, which me and my coach drilled. We knew exactly what he was going to do, which is why I was so annoyed with my performance in a way, because we knew what was going to happen, literally. And I was just, when I walked out, usually I like taking the energy in from the crowd, whether it's a boo, whether it's a cheer, I don't care. I like it. And this time I didn't have that. And I was just so relaxed as I was walking out. I was maybe too relaxed, I'd say. And as I said, I didn't have the urgency to just move and run away like I would normally when someone pressures you.
Okay, so it wasn't a flawless performance, but at the same time, you got a first round finish, like I mentioned. It still looks good on the record books. Was that what you were expecting though, to get a first round finish, or were you surprised that you were able to finish it that quickly?
I knew that my caliber, even though my record is, I've only had 5 fights, but I know the caliber fighter I am. And I knew I could finish in the first or second round. But I just wanted to put on a performance. I wanted to put on a show. And just because I got clear, I had that urgency to, okay, now I need to finish the fight. And then I just heard I got him a few submissions and he got out quite nicely. And I heard my coach go, he was like, oh, you got a minute and 30 seconds left. And I was like, oh shit, I'm a bit dizzy still. So I just finished the fight. I know it sounds bad, but I just knew I could finish the fight on the ground. As soon as I grabbed him, I was like, okay, I'm stronger than him. So, and I knew that my ground is fairly good, but I could have finished that fight standing up. I could have put on a show. It's just the fact that I made a silly mistake that I shouldn't be making. That was a bit annoying, but it is what it is.
Exactly. Still undefeated. Good record, like you mentioned, 5-0. I imagine there was nothing that really surprised you in the fight. Like you said, you expected him to do that. He did it, but it didn't matter because you got the win.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, as I said, we knew he was going to rush me. We knew we actually got a guy who's literally a perfect, fights exactly like him. And I was just doing rounds and rounds with him. We actually just call him Habibi 100 because with him it's always 100. There's sparring this or that or we're doing that. It's always 100 with him. So we just call him Habibi 100. But yeah, I'm happy and I'm blessed to be able to co-main event a show at 20. A Bellator show at 20. That's huge. But I just wasn't happy with my performance in a way.
Understandable. And I like the honesty, man. I like how you're not sugarcoating it and you're like, oh, it was great and I'm going to defeat like you're giving an honest assessment. And I think that's a maturity on your end too, to kind of recognize that. So good on you. Bellator must have been happy though. Cause again, they like finishes. That's the type of stuff they can put all over social media. Did you or your management speak to them after? They must have been pretty pleased.
Yeah, I spoke to some of the guys in Bellator and obviously they were happy. They're happy for me to win. And I think it just shows that even like I had a fight when I fought in the States. That was my third pro fight, my second fight with Bellator, and I was ill, like I was so ill. And even then, like you can tell you when I'm not myself and I'm not doing well, I still put an exciting fight. So even this fight, obviously I got dropped, which is exciting. Then I got up and took him down. I got loads of submissions on him and finished in the first round. So even with me, you're always gonna get exciting fights. But yeah, I'm happy to be that kind of fighter to put on exciting shows.
And I know, it's still kind of a fresh win here, but do you have any idea when you're looking to get back in there? Have you spoken to Bellator about that, when your next fight potentially could be?
So I'm not sure if they're doing any more Europe shows, and my visa actually expires, so I'm gonna have to sort that out.
Right.
But hopefully I can get maybe end of the year or early next year. Like my last fight was a year ago, so I took I had to take a year off. Obviously, because of COVID, it didn't help. But that's not what I want to do. I want to fight more regularly. But my goal is just to progress and just become a better fighter. And in order to do that, it's time. Even if I'm not fighting, the more time I spend in the gym, the better I'm gonna get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's cool too that you're a guy that's fought most of your pro career in Bellator, so it's kind of neat to be sort of a homegrown fighter for them. You mentioned the co-main event slot. Do you feel like they're getting behind you and giving these big opportunities? Because I think they know what they have in terms of a prospect. They've done that with a bunch of fighters on the roster. Aaron Pico, they've done it with, Ed Ruth. There's a lot of fighters where they sort of recognize, as being one of their guys that they want to sort of propel. Do you get that sense?
Yes, 100%. I'm grateful for Bellator. I mean, since my first fight on the contract, so I had a one fight that was in Hungary when they signed me. There was a one fight contract, and after that, even that was massive because I was in Honsol, loads of people, like 6,000, 7,000 people cheering for me. So that was great. But then the fight after, they've been putting me on main card. So I only had main card fights, so they clearly know that I'm capable of doing great things. So again, I just want to prove them right. I want to show them that. I want to thank them and show them that I can do it. So, but I'm just so glad that they know what they have on their hands.
Yes, and the return on investment, right? Like I mentioned, like they're investing in you, they're giving you these opportunities, and you're finishing your fights. So I think everything's been pretty good so far. Is there any opponents you're looking at next? I know you probably rely heavily on your coaches and your management to make those decisions, but you just won and you're undefeated. Is there anyone you're looking at for your next opponent?
Yeah, at the moment I just want to improve. I'll take whatever Bellator and Bellator gives me, and my coaches agree with it. I'm all good. It would be great. There are people that obviously I'd love to fight, and they're more like the legends, like Musasi and Machida, and like all these people. They are legends of the sport. And for me to be able to say that there's a chance of me fighting, that be just amazing. It blows my mind. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to be the world champion, and in order to become the world champion, I'm going to have to beat everyone. So I'm not planning on anything else. Whoever they're going to give me, they're going to give it to me, and I'm going to beat them up. That's the plan.
I'm glad you brought up those names there, Musasi, Machida. Those are fighters that came over from the UFC. I know Musasi was kind of at Strikeforce before, then did a bit in the UFC and then came over. But you get what I'm saying. Like initially when Coker took over as president of Bellator, it was all about signing the UFC free agents. And they're still doing that now. They're getting guys like, Brett Johns and Corey Anderson over here. But it seems like there's this new wave where they're really looking at prospects like yourself, like Aaron Pico, like they just brought over Jeremy Kennedy, who I still consider a bit of a prospect coming over from PFL and the UFC. What's it like being part of this new wave of Bellator where they're really trying to develop homegrown talent as opposed to just grabbing all the free agents, especially recently? I don't know if you've seen, they've signed a ton of guys recently. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. Like especially in Europe now, they're taking over here as well. They signed loads of guys. So yeah, I'm just glad that they're growing. Because if Bellators growing, I'm growing as well. So yeah, I'm just glad that we got a solid roster now as well. Like look at the light heavyweight division packed, welterweight division packed, featherweights are packed. So yeah, I'm just glad that I can be part of such a great organization. And this just shows as well that the level of fighters on Bellator are very, very high and very, very good. And when you get to sign, when you can fight for this, like well, yeah, I'm 21 now. I just turned 21, and I can be in an organization like this with these kind of level of guys. Yeah, as I said, I'm blessed. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome. Before I get you out of here, obviously you're going to take some time off. I mean, you're a young kid; you got to enjoy yourself a little bit. Are you catching up on any Netflix shows or playing any video games? What's the plan? I know you're back in training. You're a guy who takes this seriously, but what's downtime looking like going forward since the win?
Well, so Thursday was a fight. Friday I flew back to England, and by Saturday I was back in the gym. Now I'm in Paris. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, great view.
I'm in Paris because Michael Page MVP is fighting, so I'm here with him. Yeah, it's kind of nice. I'm chilling in the room most of the time because I can't really leave the hotel. But like, still, first thing I wake up, go to the gym. Then after that, I'm just enjoying. So it's weird because I kind of want to let my body relax, but at the same time, I feel like after my last fight, I'm just even more hungry. So I just want to put the work in. But I need to be smart with it. Sorry, yeah, I need to be smart with it.
No, no, I interrupted you. So there you go. And you're doing interviews with me here today, and I really appreciate it, man. It's awesome getting a chance to interview you for the first time. We're really looking forward to what's next. And I like the honest assessment on the fight, but still, awesome job getting that first round submission victory. I'll give you the last word here. If you got any sponsors or social media you want to plug, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I want to thank my coach in London Shoot Fighters. If any fighters watching it and you want to get some rounds in, wherever you are in the world, just come because we need the rounds. We need the rounds. Not a lot of people want to do it. Um, Also, Dom with Sadam Management, he does like all my interviews, sets everything up, my sponsorships. He's the best. But yeah, and follow my social media. It's at Magic Norby, Norbi.